So everybody's in the room though. So this evening we're welcoming everybody to our schooling at home Q&A session with parents. And of course, this evening we have an emphasis. The major sets of questions that we have going on this evening are centered around reading skills at home and being able to manage time at home. So we have our first mommy that is going to be joining in. Mommy Asha is going to be coming in. Hi, mommy.
Hi. Hi.
Oh, wow. So we just have to look. Uh, Good, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, I can.
Talk. Oh, great. I'm hearing you now. So tonight, remind me, what was your particular focus for our chat when it comes to schooling at home?
All right. Well, I have limited time to work with first of all, because I'm back out to work.
Mm-hmm.
I have a standard
Right.
two, 9 year
Mm-hmm.
old, and a 5 year old who's in first year.
Right. So what is your routine right now? Because I'm guessing you're referring to because of COVID, everybody is at home and you're trying to keep up with the work schedule. What is the work schedule that is being provided to you at the moment?
Well, so far, I'm not completely satisfied because the teacher sending work and it's like 2 weeks after she sends it, then she's sending correction state. That is
All
for
right.
the standard thing. So it's not enough, even though I would give her some work in between, but I'm not sure if it is I'm moving forward then, because like we stuck at repeating the same things, like
Over and
the
over.
grammar, the maths I've been giving her over and over the same things. Because I'm not
Okay.
sure how to move forward.
I understand. First question, first for you, mommy. Do you have a copy of the curriculum for each of their levels?
I don't think so.
Okay, so that's the first thing that as a parent you could do to empower yourself because a lot of different things could be going on with the teacher, right? So what you want to do in this conversation is to be able to focus on what you can do from home to create a smooth flow and so on. Now, if you're saying
Yeah.
your teacher is sending information but it's not consistent or you don't get feedback in a short amount of time, in order for you to know how to move on, if you have a copy of the curriculum. Oh, and mommy dropped out. Mommy's not hearing. But I'll continue chatting for those who are listening. And if mommy Asha comes back in, we'll continue chatting with her. But for the parents out there who feel a bit lost and is concerned about the child being able to move forward and progress and so on, one of the first places you could definitely start is by having the copy of your curriculum at hand. Because if you have a copy of your curriculum, hi mom, welcome back. If you have a
Hi.
copy of the curriculum at hand, even if you have, let's say, topic 5, by having a copy of the curriculum, then you would have known, I'm just using random
Yeah.
um, stuff, right? Then you would know what topic 4 should have been, and you know what topic 6 will be. So, on the
Mhm.
meanwhile, if the teacher seems to be on topic 5, but you kind of want to do a bit more at home, the curriculum outline will tell you where to go next and how to break it down. So
True,
you
yes.
don't have curriculum. So what you want to do is send me when you get off the chat, WhatsApp me because we have each other's WhatsApp number. Send me your email address. So if you send me the
Okay.
email address and a reminder of the academic level, what I could do is forward you the curriculum so that you could have that on hand. So that solves the challenge of being able to um, know where to go and how to direct your son or your daughter accordingly. Is that making sense to you?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and
Yes,
it
it
sounds
is.
like something that you can. Are you familiar with curriculum though? Have you used it before at all? Not as yet. So you're now
Not
going to be
really, no.
diving in. That's okay. It's
Yeah.
nothing to be scared about. It's just all about looking at what the class level is, which I will do. I will send you the appropriate class level. And once you
Okay.
do, you could find the topic that the teacher was given and look before, make sure, yes, my child understood the stuff that came before. And if you want to move ahead a little bit, you know what the next topic should be. Do you have a question?
Well, basically, what she's been sending for the past couple of weeks is like revision. Not
Right.
really, yeah, just revision. So I've been doing the same thing that she sends. I've been giving her
Mm-hmm.
more of the same revision.
Right. And so this is where the curriculum comes in, because if Miss from public school
Mhm.
is sending revision, okay, let's say for example, we're just pulling up a random topic. Let's say revision was to do with nouns, right? I'm just using nouns as an example. And you find you're doing the same thing over and over. Write a noun, identify a noun, underline the noun, circle the
Mhm.
noun. But you're thinking, wow, we've been working on nouns for so long. I want to do something else. And you might
Mhm.
see, okay, the next thing she should be able to do, is it a son or a daughter you have, mommy?
Both. The standard two is a daughter and the infant is a boy,
All
my
right. So
son.
let's say for your daughter, you would see in the curriculum, let's say that she's supposed to be moving on to do proper nouns. Then even
Yeah.
if Miss from school hasn't sent any work on proper nouns as yet, the curriculum would tell you next in line is proper nouns.
Mhm.
And then you could go to her textbook and look for the note on proper noun. You could look at the
Mhm.
exercise on proper nouns. You could find videos on proper nouns. So that way you could be sure that even at home, you're moving forward and you're not
Yeah.
just feeling stuck all the time.
Yeah, well, I've been using the books. I've been using the books and giving her from her textbooks work relating to
Right.
it. Yeah.
Good. So the way that you're able to take it a whole lot further is by looking at the curriculum. The curriculum would definitely help you, so that if it is the curriculum, you have that. Well, when I send it for you, because I am
Yeah.
going to
No
send it for
problem. Yeah.
you, you would be able to move forward and continue moving forward, because you know what the next topics are step by step. Does that make complete sense to you?
Yeah.
So I'm just
Yes,
putting
it
a little
is.
note here right next to your name, so that I know that you're going to message me your email
Yes.
address, but I'm giving me a note as well, email curriculum. This is for standard two. And what is your son's academic level, mommy?
He's an infant.
Infant one or infant two?
One. Infant one.
Okay,
He's
no
now
problem.
starting. He has now started to grasp at words and into the reading. And I was working with him for a while, and how I went back out to work, I'm afraid that we're falling back a bit.
And this is where
Big
the
time.
routine comes in. And I know you mentioned
Time.
limited time, but one
Mhm.
of the things you definitely want to be able to do is to encourage a routine of reading. Yes? So,
Yeah.
question, if it is you are at home, let's say during I mean, sorry, you're at work during the day, is there anybody else who is potentially at I'm sorry. Hi, Natasha. I'm just muting you because I'm hearing a reverberation in the mic, right? But once you come on, I'll unmute you. Thanks. Yes, mommy. I was saying
Yeah.
to you that, is there anybody at home during the day that would be able to encourage the routine of reading? Or is it just mainly you to work with
Well, Finn,
him?
it's mainly me to work with. I have an older daughter, but she is currently writing exams online. So when
Right.
she's done with that, maybe I'll get some help from her.
Okay, so then what I want to encourage you to do, don't sit and feel overwhelmed, create a plan. Because in creating a plan, it says, okay, these are the hours that I can give, or minutes, whatever it is. These are the minutes my daughter can give. This is the minute granny or uncle or whoever could give, and
Mhm.
create a schedule out of it. Because if we don't create a schedule, we won't be able to maximize our time. Yes. So the first
Yes,
thing you
I'll
want to
try.
do is I make sure you're identifying these are my best hours when I get home from work that I can give towards supporting reading. And then, so if
Mhm.
it is, like, let me say Monday and Tuesday is really, really busy for you, Monday and Tuesday not good, then maybe if his elder sister is available, she could do the 15 minutes with him on those 2 days. But
Mhm.
what I'm saying, encouraging you, is to be intentional about having a routine to encourage reading. And
Mhm.
remember, encouraging reading is not only about sitting down with a book to read. We could encourage reading in many different ways. So
Different
let's
ways,
say,
yeah.
yeah, so let's say if we're going down the road, even on a Saturday, we're going to the market. Encouraging reading could be, tell me what word you see on that sign, or what word do
Mm-hmm.
you see here? Or if you walk into a store, what's the name of that store? Let's sound it out. Encouraging reading in addition to opening the book, know that there are many other things that you can do to encourage reading skills, including signs, paying attention, encouraging him to tell a story, looking at diction, working on his ability to understand when you talk about things. So there are many different ways that with your very busy schedule, you could encourage literacy development, which will in turn support his reading skills. Is this
Okay.
information helping any?
Yes, it is. It is helping, but it's just that well, I just have like 2, 3 critical weeks at work,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm working till 6:30, and I'm working through Saturday and Sunday, and I'm working tomorrow as well. So I
Right.
really have to make that time.
So here's what I have. I'm seeing Natasha is in the chat. So I want to switch to Natasha to
No
chat with her a
problem.
little bit. But while I have you in the background, I want you to think of something for me. I want you to think, how can you split when it comes to the schoolwork and the reading skills? How can you split it between independent tasks and aided tasks? Meaning, one of the ways you could help yourself as a really busy parent is to
Mhm.
take a check to ask yourself, what are the things that I can get my child to work on independently alone, whether because I provide the book or I provide
Mhm.
the device with the story to listen to or whatever, and what are the things that he or she definitely needs me to do. Because maybe if you could split the priorities between the independent task and the aided task, again, it might
Mhm.
help you with your schedule in being able to still make sure they're doing work, and then by the time you get to them, you help with the things that they could not do on their own.
Okay.
Yes, I want you to think about that. And I'm going to switch to Natasha for a quick minute for a chat. Hi, Natasha. How are you? Okay, so I think you're still muted. Let me try to unmute you. Chat with me again.
Yes. Hi.
Good hearing you. Hi, good evening. So we're doing our school at home Q&A session. So basically it's where parents get to pop in and ask questions about just different things in terms of supporting their kids at home to help. So what's your question this evening?
No questions. I don't really have a question. I just popped
Okay.
into Instagram and saw it, so I say I have a, I have a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old. And well, we are homeschooling now.
Right. And
So
how is that going for you?
but the 6-year-old is excellent.
Good.
The 10-year-old, she's in standard 4. So
Mm-hmm.
she once upon a time she used to read really well,
Mm-hmm.
but um I'm not sure what's happening now.
Having some challenges now.
Yes,
Okay.
because she got the foundation just as the smaller one. Because I would see the smaller one sounding out her letters and putting words together, and my bigger one is Jenny. She's not she doesn't do that well with that.
Right. One of the things I want to remind you, though, mommy, is that when we think about reading, and maybe you know this already, but just sharing for anybody else who pops in, it might help, right? When we think
Mhm.
about reading, reading extends beyond reading fluency, which means the ability, of course, to pick up the book and read well in terms of how well you sound out your words and stuff. And sometimes some of the levels, kind of what we could phrase as before that, affects reading fluency and how we think, oh, the child is able to read or not read. So as you think about your daughter's challenges, I want you to ask yourself, is her challenge with the phonics and the ability to sound and be aware of letter sound blends, syllabication, and so on? Or maybe the challenge could be with her vocabulary development, because sometimes they have a good foundation, like you mentioned, we know how to sound words. But if, as the child goes along, they're not like improving in how many more words you're learning, the ability to spell, recognize word, know what the word is and what it means. That can be a challenge to reading as well. Another
Mm-hmm.
component of reading skills has to do with reading comprehension, which means that can when a child reads but doesn't understand what she reads, it could limit the ability to read and to be able to manipulate information. And then you have how it sounds when you come out. So
Mm-hmm.
even as you think about these four basics, the phonics of it all, word building, learning new words, understanding what you read, and then being able to sound it out consistently. Are
Mm-hmm.
any of those areas you, as you think now, you probably would have identified as a challenge for her?
The sounding out, because she would sound out the, I shouldn't say sounding out, because she would sound out the words, and then she would look up and say something, say the wrong word then.
Mm.
Sometimes it's not even a word, you know?
Right. Yeah. So then, if it is what you're realizing, mommy, is that the core of the challenge you are experiencing with her has a lot to do with the sounding out, then, and maybe you're doing this already, but instead of focusing on major passages, paragraphs, and so on, take a
Mm-hmm.
focus, go back to basics and focus on words. Because what you want to do, especially with COVID, we don't have access as much like reading classes and all this as we usually would. So then what you could do is look for phonics material that would identify words so that we're practicing words, let's say, with long A sounds, with short A sounds, with different types of
Mm-hmm.
blends. So when you go through those words, the ones that are great, she'll go through in flying colors. But then probably you might realize the problem is when we put these two letters together, that's where we have the challenges. So, to focus there.
Mm-hmm.
Or you might realize, oh, when we reach the 3-syllable words, that's where she has the problem. And we'll put the emphasis there. So maybe taking an approach like that could definitely help with identifying exactly where the challenge is. So we're not just saying read more, read more, read more. Because remember, if we're
Mm-hmm.
practicing doing the same challenge thing over and over, we may not
Yes.
necessarily get the result that we want. So it's always
Yes.
important to check for the root of the challenge. Does that information help any mom?
That sounds good. That
So
sounds
that's it.
good.
But do you have access to like phonics and phonics materials and so on at home?
Um, I have the leapfrog, but I think she's past that.
Right, way past that if you're in standard four. So here's what you do.
Mhm.
2721987. You probably you would have had
Yes.
my number already, our WhatsApp number. So what you could
Yes.
do is WhatsApp me your email address so that
Okay.
once you WhatsApp me your email, I could look for some material for you that I could send. So whether you use
Okay.
it on a tablet or you print it out, I would look for something parent friendly for you so that way you
Mhm.
could kind of go through step by step with her, and that should help you identify where in the sounding of the words the challenges, so it would help you to help her overcome that, especially in this time when we're home, because this
Yes.
time at home gives us a great opportunity to focus on but it gives us a
Well,
great
I am not
opportunity.
so much home again, but at
What is
least
that,
they are
sorry?
with me. I am not so much at home again, but at least they are with me during the
Right.
day.
Right.
Yeah.
When I say at home, I don't mean
Yeah.
physically, literally, but
Yes.
they're not in school.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know for a lot of parents, kids not being in school is like a scary thing. But at the same time, we could look at the cup half full and recognize this is an opportunity that where there may have been challenges, we have a couple months to catch up on those challenges
Right.
before school reopens. So we're going to look at it half full. So I'm gonna put you on in the background again for a minute so that I guess you'll continue listening, and maybe if you have any questions, you could let me know. Just wave at me so I'll see. And I'm gonna go back to Asha to find out if she finished thinking. Actually, I could probably just add Asha in. Hi. So I don't have to switch you on. I could just add you in. Did you give any thought, Asha, to prioritization, what they could do alone, what they definitely need you to do to help with your time?
Well, when I was home with them right through, the 5-year-old, he needed help with everything,
Right.
from reading to writing to getting everything done. He needed help with it because they couldn't leave him to do something without him coming back to ask for help. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know
Um,
if it's
I have a
because
question
I
for
was.
you, Tommy.
Hmm.
As a brother and sister, do you think they could physically sit at the same table to work at the same time?
They were they did sit at the same table, but
So
they
maybe,
they were fighting most of the time.
all right, fair enough, because that's a lot of times our brothers and sisters work. But what I would encourage you to consider, maybe try it again, but with a different perspective. Nobody's
Hmm.
boss of anybody. So we make sure they
Hmm.
understand that. But maybe
Hmm.
if you get them to sit together at the same time and you break down a simple task like trace these letters, trace these
Yeah.
words, or whatever,
Yeah.
when he's sitting with his sister, because his sister is doing work, he may have a little more patience to sit at the table and do his part. So it keeps him
Hmm.
academically occupied in that way. So he's still progressing and staying focused until you get home to do the more heavier tasks with him.
Yeah.
And
True.
over
Yes.
time, the discipline of sitting with his sister and staying settled and focused, it would grow into him just being a disciplined student at home over time.
Yeah.
So that is a
Um,
strategy. You might not want to push it every day in the beginning, but if you do a couple of days a week or so, over time it could build up to possibly help.
I'll work at it.
And with your daughter, I will, as I said, send me your email. I'll send you the curriculum and
Hmm.
what you could do. An independent task for your daughter could be maybe find the place in the textbook that has the write up about the note, whether it's a verb or a noun or whatever. So maybe her task when you're not at home could be to read.
Yeah, well, her work is done, where her work is concerned, I don't have that problem. It's just him with the time,
All
the
right.
attention. But I could give her
But
work to do and get it
but
done.
remember, mommy, your concern was in the earlier part of the conversation.
To
Your
move
concern
forward.
was you wanted her to progress. So
Yeah.
now we're not just looking at, oh, she's accomplished this, it's all good.
Mhm.
But because your focus now is having her progress, now you want to use your curriculum to identify the topics so that you could give her new work to read up. So
Yeah.
then by the time you get home, she could talk it through with you. And then you could say, okay, well, tomorrow you'll do these questions. So by the time you get home, it's just to check it through. And you just be very intentional about how you use your time. So don't wait
Yeah.
until you go home to try to do the insurmountable everything. Split it between what you could let them do on their own. So when you come home,
Hmm.
it could be maybe a bit easier.
I'll try it.
Yes, you have a couple things to try, not too much, but definitely looking at the curriculum, trying to get
Hmm.
your two kids to sit at the same time to do work
It's done,
peacefully,
yes. Hmm. I will try them.
prioritizing is really important, and identifying what you could try to get them to do without you so that you could do the heavier stuff with them and it would ease you up a little bit by the time you get home in the evening, because it's a lot. We work in, we're trying to support the kids, we know it's a lot, but you try little at a time, and as we go along it gets better. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, Natasha, any thoughts you want to share? Any other questions or so?
Not at this time.
No. Hi, I just added in Colleen. I know we do have a visual with you, but can you hear us?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Do you have any questions or comments you want to add in?
No, I just thought that this was a little informative session. Each parent got a chance to understand a little aspect of how they could improve their child's learning.
Right. Okay, no problem. Thank you. So, Mommy Natasha, Mommy Asha, thanks for joining in this evening. I hope, how was today's session? That's my favorite question. I know you all don't know, but that is my favorite question whenever I chat with people. So, Mommy Asha, how was this evening's session for you?
This was good. This was my first time on a live chat, so it was interesting.
Right. And Mommy Natasha, how was the session for you?
Well, for me, it was short, but because I joined late. But but the information I got was I can work with it. Sounds good.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
So remember, both of you send me emails. So the information that I promised you, I could forward it to you by the end of the week. And I'm here, and sometimes we have other teachers joining as well. Every Wednesday at 9, because we know that's the time the kids are probably settled and you could breathe a little bit to take time off to join the chat. So we're here every Wednesday at 9. So even if you want to jump back into the chat next week Wednesday because maybe you tried something, it worked, it didn't work, you had a challenge, you want to check in, that's what we're here for, to support. So thanks so much for joining in with the chat tonight. Yeah. And remember to
Oh,
send me the
Yes.
email address. Okay, bye. So, everybody, we hope that what we chatted about would have been a help to you. And just to recap for those who are listening post live stream, some of the recommendations given is firstly, when you want to progress with your kids, especially through learning at home, you want to be able to make sure you have a copy of the curriculum, the Ministry of Education curriculum. Yes, it is available online, and in the comment section below, I'll post a couple links to help with that. Secondly, you want to be mindful to prioritize, especially for working moms. Be mindful that you can't literally do everything at once. So it's a great approach to be able to look at what you want to achieve, identify your goals, and then be able to say, okay, this is what I could probably have my child work on independently while I'm at work. And then this is what I'll be able to do with him or her when I get home. So it's much easier to balance the entire experience and not make it overwhelming for you or the child. So then once you do that, you're able to progress, you're able to get work done, and you're able to breathe a little better. And just to remind everybody, especially those of us here in Trinidad and Tobago, we're going to be reopening in September. And of course, literally the rest of the world is on pause because of COVID. So know that it doesn't have to be a half glass empty perspective, but I'm encouraging everybody to look at it as a half glass full perspective. Make the most of the time that the kids are out of school, knowing that it's a time to catch up, identify weak areas, and not just go full steam ahead doing the regular things, but take time. If you recognize your child has a challenge, attempt to find the root of the challenge. And if you can't do that on your own, platforms like these are great where you could connect with someone, kind of get some tips on how to go about it or be able to access resources. So I want to encourage you, take a half glass full approach and maximize the time that your kids are at home, whether it's through reading, writing, or skills development. And even in terms of life skills, getting them to take part in things in the home. So kids that never used to make up their bed before because they're rushing out to school, hey, this is a great time to get them to learn to make up their bed or learn to help cut up some vegetables in the kitchen and help out around, because it's a great time to introduce life skills. So I applaud all the mummies, daddies, aunties, and uncles who are out there doing their best to support kids while we are closed during COVID. But I want to encourage you, don't neglect the life skills as well, because those are also equally as important to make sure we have well-rounded students. So to all our viewers, those who are live and those who will look at the show after the fact, thank you for joining in to Schooling at Home Q&A parent session. And know that we're going to be here on the Caribbean Parenting YouTube channel every Wednesday at 9 p.m. where we take your questions. Remember to reserve to be able to come in and join the live chat. you definitely want to WhatsApp into 2721987. And for those joining in outside of Trinidad and Tobago, that is 868-272-1987. So that way you can be a part of the conversation. So my name is Alina Lewis, here join Victoria Literacy Center, and I'm super excited to have been here, and I trust that the information was most helpful. Thank you to everybody who joined in. Have a good night.